many of you are aware that there are actually 90,000 different ways by which people can be happy? 90,000. Is that a small number or a large number? Very large number. Wonderful. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 ways by which you can be happy. These are what I call the 3 models of happiness. But ahead of doing that, I would request you to do 2 things. Then I'll tell you a story, and then we'll talk about these 3 models. On a piece of paper that you have, on a scale from 0 to 10, or from 1 to 10, where 1 denotes that you are least happy and 10 denotes that you are most happy, can you at this particular point in time write there as to how happy you now are? Now seated here in Taj MG, how happy you are. I want you to write a number between 1 to 10, where 1 is least happy and 10 is most happy. At this particular point in time, you have written the number? Okay. I want you to do a more important thing. I want you to close your eyes for 15 seconds. Can you please close your eyes for 15 seconds? I now want you to imagine or think of the happiest moment of your life. I want you to run through that in your mind. It could be the time when you first met your wife. It could be the time when you got your first job. It could be the time when you became the principal of the college, whatever. You have thought about that? Now on that same sheet of paper, which you were earlier using, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being least happy and 10 being most happy, I want you to write a number. These numbers are not to be disclosed to me, so I don't need them. You have done? Okay. Our medium-term objective is to move from where you now are in terms of your level of happiness to where you once were, because that was the happiest moment of your life. And our long-term objective, your long-term objective would be to move from where you once were to whatever is your desired number in that scale of happiness. And that's what we intend to do. And towards that, I'll begin with a story. I want you to take a look at this picture and tell me what you see there. I want you to look at the picture and tell me what do you see there. I can't hear, so if you're smiling faces, good? Smiling faces? Sorry? 1 teacher and number of students. Okay, good. Black and white picture. Innocence. Discipline. Most happy days in the life. Not the last day. Not the last day. We are all here today. Something else. You were on the teacher, something else. How does the teacher look like? Beautiful. Who said that? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This was a picture of mine. I'm right here. This was when I was, you can clap, you can clap. I picked that up from our previous speaker, the idea that when you clap, you must clap. Okay, this was when I was 10 years old, when I was in class 6, and that was the time when I first fell in love. Okay? Or maybe I should rephrase it, when I had my first crush. And obviously, what was that for? Obviously, it was not for any one of those girls who are seated there. Obviously, it was for the teacher. Okay? That morning, I still remember the day we were short. That morning, the teacher asked the class, what do you people want to do when you grow up? One guy put his hand up and said he wants to be a doctor. He is here, second from left. Today he is one of England's leading intervention cardiologists. Okay? Another student said that he wants to be an engineer. Today, I won't name him because many of you would know him. Today, he is part of the senior management of one of India's topmost construction companies. A third person, a young girl, said, I want to be a cook. What she actually meant was that she wanted to be a chef. Today, in the western part of India, she appears on regional television and she does a Sanjeev Kapoor. She gives out recipes to people. And then the teacher turned to me and asked me, what do you want to become? I was tongue-tied. A favorite teacher picking me out of those 15-odd people, asking me, what do I want to become? I was very happy, so I just kept quiet. Then she asked me, what do you want to become? I said, Miss, I want to be very happy. She didn't understand, so she said, no, but what do you want to become when you grow up? I said, I want to be very happy. That evening, she wrote in my report card, this guy is excellent in all the subjects, very good in English, very good in Hindi, very good in mathematics, very good in science, very good in history, good in geography, very good in civics, but he has no understanding of what he wants to do in life. Exact words. The exact word, I still have that report card with me. She said, this guy does not know what he wants to do in life. Today, I think in the advantage of hindsight, I can possibly say that I was right and she was wrong. I don't think anybody today wakes up in the morning and says, oh, let me have a miserable day. I think everybody wakes up in the morning, everybody wants to be happy. We want to be happy at work. We want to be happy at home. We want to be happy in our friendship with people. Is that right? Whatever we do, whether you are a teacher, I've all my life taught, so I think, speak for you, whether you want to be a teacher, or whether you want to be a doctor, or whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a chartered accountant, whether you're a whatever, these are just roads where your ultimate destination is happiness. I want to move on. The best and brightest boys and girls went to the Indian Institute of Technology and later wanted to go to the IIM. We always told ourselves, if we go to IIM, we'll become big shots in corporate India. We can go and marry the best girls. We can have a high social standing, etc., etc. I don't think we ever realized that getting into IIM was just a first step. The moment you step there, you have lots of other issues. You have issues in terms of grades. You have issues in terms of placement. You have multiple issues which you have to crack. There must be some people here who say, if only I had a better boss, life would be difficult. Or like one of my friends used to once upon a time think, if only the boss had a heart attack, no, life would be good for me. Or we could possibly be also saying that, if only I went to that vacation in Zurich, then life would be so very wonderful. I tell people that if you get into this idea of if, then, if this is done, then that will happen, then you are on the wrong path. That's actually, I call my idea number one, or rule number one, that we should not get into the if-then model. We need to accept the world as it is. I want you to go through this little video. It does not have a sound. What did you see there, or what could you see there? You saw the rainbow? Okay. That's good. How do you feel when you see a rainbow? Wow. Okay. Have you ever asked yourself, if only this rainbow had been 1 feet to the left or 1 feet to the right, it would have been wonderful? No, we don't. And that's precisely the reason why I tell people that the first rule to happiness is to accept the world as it is. I'm not saying that you should not be aspirational. For sure we need to be aspirational. For sure we have to have goals. We need to have ambitions. But I don't think we should go out and say, I want to change the entire world. No, different people have different views on how things need to be done. I'll now move on to my second rule. And to understand rule number 2, I'm going to call this the spaghetti sauce model. There is a company called the Campbell Soup Company Limited. And in the 1980s, this product, Ragu, and that product, Prego, were top spaghetti sauces. Spaghetti, incidentally, is the other word for pasta. Okay? While Raghu was the front runner, Prego was an outstanding product, in fact, was an outstanding sauce. In fact, if you poured Prego onto a spaghetti, it would stay there. It's called tardiness, so so it sticks there. Whereas when it comes to Raghu, it flows out. And taste-wise also, many people thought that Prego tasted much better. Notwithstanding that fact, the front runner then was Raghu, and Prego could not do much about it. And then Prego hired a man called Howard Moskowitz, and it asked Howard Moskowitz to suggest what it must do. And what Moskowitz did was simple. He made 45 different variations of these sauce. They were varied based on sweetness, by tartness, by sourness, by visible solid. And then he went to the roads, collected tons and tons of people, brought them to a town hall, and gave each one of them 10 bowls of soup, 10 small bowls of soup, and they were to rate which one of these 10 bowls tasted best on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being least good and 10 being most good. They were asked to rate. 6 months later, he had a mountain of data. What do you think he would have done with a mountain of data? If Howard Moskowitz had come from my profession, the profession of chartered accountancy, he would have possibly said, oh, this is the best model, this has the highest rating. He didn't do that. What he instead did was, he broke them into 3 groups. He said, Americans like sauce which is plain. He said, there are Americans who also like sauce which is spicy. And he said, there are Americans who like sauce which is extra chunky. In fact, the third one was a remarkable find. It was because no mall in the United States of America at that particular point in time actually sold heavily extra chunky sauce. So Prego CEO asked Moskowitz, are you trying to say that we in the sauce industry are not producing a product which 33% of America likes? And Moskowitz said yes. And Prego then went back to the drawing board. It decided to make sauce that was extra chunky, market it, and in the next 10 years, I think they made some $60 billion of money out of it. You might ask, what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is very simple. Happiness is not in a vertical line. It's not about, I have a car, I want a better car, I want a best car, I want a still better car. Happiness is in a horizontal box. There are different things that give different people happiness. And for the same person, there are many things that give happiness. And that also sets the context of rule number 1, where we are therefore not to sit on judgment with people. I want you to take a look at this video. Some of you might have seen it on WhatsApp, but I want you to, before that, in other words, rule number 2 basically says that we need to embrace diversity. We need to embrace the fact that to different people, different things bring about happiness. And now I want you to really, really look at this video.
मिल गई विकेट। जी हां, इसी की आवश्यकता थी और इसीलिए कहते हैं कि गेंदबाज को स्टंप टू स्टंप लाइन। मिल गई विकेट। जी हां, इसी की आवश्यकता थी और इसीलिए कहते हैं कि गेंदबाज को स्टंप टू स्टंप लाइन।
What did you see there? You and I are a little too, I won't say old, a little too elderly perhaps to laugh like those young kids laughed. And why did they laugh? All of them were so very happy. All of them were so very happy. I think in our growing up years, somewhere that innocence has been lost and we are not able to pick up happiness out of small, small things. But more than that, why I put it out there is for us to realize that different things bring happiness to different people. What brings happiness to me does not bring happiness to you. In fact, in the world of medicine, people say that there is no such thing as a cancer. Your cancer is different from my cancer, is different from her cancer, because different people have different versions of cancer. I'll go to my third and last model. The third and last model is what I call the tyranny of choice. What do you see here? Jeans. I'm a great lover of jeans. Given a choice, but unfortunately because of the kind of work that I do, I don't think I can wear a jeans every day to work, but otherwise I would like to wear a jeans. You know what is the biggest advantage of jeans? You never have to wash. There's no question of will wash someday. You never have to wash. Like a friend of mine once told me when he first introduced me to jeans, he said you can use jeans for 3 years and then burn it. So there's no question of washing. Okay? So some 4 years back, I wanted to buy another pair of jeans. So I went to one of those malls, the Forum Mall in Chennai, and I told the guy my waist size and said, I want jeans. He said, do you want slim fit? Do you want easy fit? Or do you want relaxed fit? I didn't understand anything. He looked at me. Then he thought this guy must be too old to understand. I told him, no, I normally go to the shop. Once upon a time, 10 years back, I went to a shop. I just told my waist size and they gave me. He said, no, it's not like that. You'll have to tell me which. So I decided one of them. I think I decided relaxed fit or easy fit. I don't remember. And then immediately he said, do you want zipper fly or button fly? My math mind worked. I now realize that I had 3 into 2, 6 combinations. And I thought, okay, zipper fly. For a moment, I did not understand what was zipper fly. Then I realized what it was, and I said, I don't want button fly, I want zipper fly. And then he asked me the next question. Do you want it stone washed or do you want it acid washed? I thought stone washed means, no, once upon a time in my generation, at least people used to bang it on that washing stone. So I thought maybe that means that. So I said, okay, I want acid washed. Now already what was there? 3 into 2, 6 into 2, 12. And then he came with the sixer, final one. He said, do you want it bottom cut or bottom tapered? I was sick. I said, you give me whatever, this is my waist size. We had a lot of talk, and finally when I walked out of the mall, I'm sure the jeans that I bought was much better than the jeans that I would have bought if I had gone and bought the way that I had bought once upon a time. But now, after I walked 100 feet, you remember I told you I bought a slim fit or regular fit. I told myself, hey, if I had not bought that, if I had bought something else, would it not have been better? And then after walking another 100 feet, I thought, oh, why did I buy bottom cut? Bottom tapered would have been better. You understand what I'm getting into. Now, in my earlier way of buying, if my mother said, hey, the jeans of yours is looking bad, I could always tell her, no, this is the only jeans that was available. Choice was not mine. Today, if the jeans is not good, the problem is on me. So I have always believed that the lesser the choice, it's actually the better. If you endlessly look at multiple choices, and in today's digital world, you have huge amount of choice, enormous amount of choice. I'm sure you must have seen on the roads or in homes, everybody is holding on, me included, a mobile, looking into it, etc., etc., etc. When you have multiple choice, you run into trouble. I also believe that actually choice is not such a very good thing. There is something called patient autonomy in the world of medicine. In the world of medicine today, what is happening is, when a doctor has to do a prescription, okay, he tells a person, you have 3 types of treatment. Treatment A, treatment B, treatment C. Treatment A, these are the advantages, disadvantages. Treatment B, these are the advantages, disadvantages. Treatment C, these are the advantages, disadvantages. You get what I'm saying? The doctor is telling the patient and asking him, you decide. The ones the doctor asked me, so I told him which is good. And then he repeated the same story. Then I thought I was a very smart guy, so I told the doctor, doctor, if you were me, what would you have done? And the doctor said, unfortunately, I am not you. Now look at the irony of the situation of choice here. The choice is being shifted from a man who is an expert, a man who is supposed to know things, to a person who is not an expert. Not only is he not an expert, he is in a sick position. He can't make up his mind. So I've always believed, or I would like to believe, that too much of choice is not good. It's always good to have less choice. It's always good to have lowered expectations. What did I begin with? What did I start with? What was rule number 1? Accept the world as it is. It's good for parents, because I think today, somewhere down the line, we are talking about parenting. What was the second? Embrace diversity. And the third I'm now trying to say is that the lesser the choice, lower the expectation, the better it is. I borrowed a little bit of time from Anbu, so don't cut me off. Okay. This is called the happiness index. It tells that people are least happy when they are somewhere between 45 to 54. Okay? If you are between 45 and 54, don't worry. And it says people, thereafter it starts picking up. After 55, it starts picking up and people are most happy when they are at 65. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. As we grow, as we become more experienced, as we realize that there is a short time span only left for us, we begin to understand what are the priorities of life. We don't go on blind dates, which is the kind of thing you would do if you were 35 and run into trouble. So the priorities are less. We also begin to realize, like I told you, no, of course I realized it long back, that it is always good to accept the world as it is. It is good not wanting to change the world while you really do what is good for the world. So as you grow up, you realize that these are things that are doable and these are things that are not doable. I am now going to very briefly tell you that there are 6 F's to happiness. Fame brings you happiness. Make no mistake about it. If somebody says, Shah Rukh Khan, okay, what is the point of it? No, fame brings happiness. There are people who say money does not bring happiness. I won't agree with that. If you have money, it's good. I'm not saying chase money. I'm not saying chase fortune. But if you have fortune, if you have money, many things that can actually be taken care of. The third F is family. Family brings you happiness. If you have a good family, if you have a good support system, you will be happy. If you build good friends, not just at the social media, I have always believed that if you have friends whom you can count on with the 5 fingers of your hand, have just 3 friends whom I can call the 3 a.m. friends, to whom you can actually speak at 3 o'clock in the night and sob over your problem, then your life has been well lived. If you are fit, today the unfortunate thing is that with the advancement of science, we are going to live longer and longer. Many people are going to live well into their 90s. That's a sobering thought. So you'll have to be fit. And last but definitely not the least is that if you think you have a bright future, and you have a bright future, if you are well educated, or like some of our speakers were telling, if you can constantly reskill yourself, it will be good. Denmark is considered to be the happiest country in the world. Last 2 years running, they were ranked number 1. And Denmark says that the 2 reasons why they are happy is that the guys are healthy, as in fitness, and the guys are extremely well educated, as in future. I will now summarize as I begin to wind up. I began by telling you that the objective of life is to be happy. Everything else flows from there. I told you that the first rule of happiness is that you must accept things as they are. I then told you, with the help of the spaghetti sauce model, that embracing diversity is the second step towards happiness. The third rule, as I understand it, is that the secret to happiness lies not in great choice, but in less choice and lowered expectations. We also spoke about the 6 F's of happiness. And I think if we can do all this, aside of the 87,000 odd other ways that there might be, I'm sure you will all be able to live life very happily. And it's something which I think you should start embracing beginning tomorrow. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention.